Hey, now my wife's starting to challenge me. She's wanting something to put in front of a door of ours in our house. The entryway's really dark, and she or I like that. So she's wanting me to do something with some metallics to catch the light coming in some windows. So that's what I'm going to try. She wants kind of a dirty pour, except I'm going to separate the colors just a little bit. I'm not going to pour them all together. I'll just pour them one after the other. Just a different look is all. But I want to kind of get an idea of you know, how big a vein I need to pour to come out with the right width, because I'm going to go over some pieces that are 4 feet wide and 2 feet tall. I'm going to have 3 different pieces, and so I'm going to have to pour a vein probably that's probably about as wide as one of these. So for this, I'm going to try to go about half that much. So I'm going to try to make it come out about maybe so wide, just so I have some sides left, and then that's what I'll do on the main one. So I'm just going to start with a white board, and my base color is going to be white, again from Countertop Epoxy. So far, you know, this is some great stuff, so I'm just going to continue to use it, but I haven't cut this one open or anything, so I'm going to stop right now and get a few things done. I'll mix up some epoxy. I'll come back once I have a white poured on and heated. So then we'll come back. Okay, I've got some epoxy mixed up here. Got my white board. I didn't mix up enough epoxy. That's kind of a dumbass move. Always mix up a little more than you need. But I just didn't make enough for all 4 colors, so I had to take a little more out of this. I think I can scrimp and get a good coverage here, but always make you a couple more ounces than you really need on little boards. And then I would make an extra 16 to 24 ounces on a countertop just to be safe. You just never know what you're gonna end up needing. Got me a new white here. Get it opened up. So my base is going to be white. I'll try to keep these stirred and cooled enough so they don't get too ahead of me. But I'll get some white going. I'm going to put quite a bit of white in this time because I'm real short on the amount of epoxy I have. Once again, I started without a rag. Kind of a klutz. That should be enough white. Okay, we'll get this mixed up. Like I say, we need to keep an eye on these. Can't let them sit there in the cup too long. They shouldn't cook too quick, being that there's not much in the bottom, but just need to keep an eye on them. I'm going to let this set in the cup for just a few minutes. Let it warm up. So in the meantime, we can start getting our other colors mixed up. So I guess what we've decided is we're going to go with the aged bronze down the middle to start with. And then we'll go with the translucent green through the middle of that one. I'm going to throw a little extra of this in here just because it's a real light color. And I want some good color coming out of it. That's actually a lot right there, probably almost too much. But then we'll pour some turquoise down the center of that. And you can do this in any order you want. Just depends on what you want it to look like. But I think this should give us some good bright colors. There's a lot of metal flake in here. Should respond to the light pretty well right there in that dark hallway. So we'll give it a shot and see what it comes out like. So I'll get these mixed up and we'll come back. I wanted to stop right here because there's definitely something I want to do before I go doing my regular project. Is I want to mix quite a bit of pearl white in with the white. That gives it a really cool effect if you want a white and give it some character. So just wanted to mention that on the video. Because again, I'm going to just use alcohol. I want to keep these whites as white as I can get them, just to brighten up that area. So the whitest white I know is just use the alcohol. You don't really need to torch it. Just make sure you look real close for bubbles. If you got bubbles, make sure you get them popped with the alcohol. So again, I've got my colors mixed up. The aged bronze. This is the only one I thinned with alcohol, as it's going to be the outside one. I want it to run the furthest. And then it's got some of the translucent green, and then the turquoise and the silver. I think these are doing pretty good. They're not getting warm at all. This is just before half its working life probably. I'm going to let all of this set just a little bit longer. I don't want it to fade out too much. We'll give it about 5 more minutes and then we'll start putting some color on. Okay, I've got my colors all mixed. The white's coming out really nice. As you can see, just some alcohol will take care of those bubbles. There's some real small ones. I'll do this one more time, just kind of lightly. We'll let that evaporate. And then I think we'll be about ready to do this thing. Still, yeah, I'm misestimating because looks like we still got at least half the working time. Just got to make sure these aren't getting warm at all. Looks like it's about probably 80 degrees, so they're starting to activate here. Got enough epoxy on my work table that I don't even hardly have to hold them anymore. I'm going to have to get that changed here soon. So again, this is the thinnest one. It's going to be the first one. So I'm going to go ahead and spray some alcohol on here. Kind of lubricate that a little bit. I'm just going to put the aged bronze on and give it just a minute to see what it's going to do, and then I'll decide what I want to follow up with. Let's do this one corner to corner. I'll go with something like that. And these bubbles that are forming, that's just the alcohol in it evaporating. Just pushes those colors to the side. Like I said, I'm going to give this just a minute. I don't always know how big this is going to get, and I don't want it to completely take over the board. So I'm going to give it just a minute to do what it wants to do. But it's kind of a cool time to see what that does when you thin the alcohol. I would say both the board and everything was about 80 degrees. Just kind of pushes the metallics to the side from the alcohol, and then the white comes up through it. It gives you some pretty marbled cells. And again, you can tell just how unpredictable this stuff is, because this all came out of the same cup, mixed all the same way. So, you know, I think the thicker alcohol did this, but it just shows you that you can never get another one of these exactly the same. It's just, I'm guessing that's impossible. But that's a pretty cool vein. I like that vein. But we'll give it a couple of minutes, as I've got to add more color to this. Second thought, I don't think I should wait any longer. I don't want these colors to settle down too far before I get them pushed out. So next we're, what do I want to do here? Yeah, I think we're going to go with this. Boy, that's awful thick. I think I got a little cold. I think I'm just going to heat that up just a little bit. I don't want to thin it with the alcohol. I want a little bit different look. Melt my cup. Okay, we're getting pretty thin now. Now when you do this, you're going to actually shorten your working life on this color. So make it do what you want it to do pretty quickly, because this one will cool back off and it'll actually be setting up more than the rest of it. I think I'm going to go ahead and get my other colors on. Seems like we've slowed down here a little bit. I might have it a little too cool in here tonight. So I'm going to get my other colors on there and then maybe push them down with a little alcohol. I don't know what I'm doing here, but just trying to make something different. Just keep in mind, this is the size of a design that would be on a countertop. So The design's not going to take over your countertop. It's going to be this much in the center. The battery's about to run down here, but anyway, what I was planning on doing here is I'm just trying to expand things just a little bit more. So it's really late in the process. Probably one more thing I can do, which is I'm going to heat it back up. I'm going to get it to about probably 100 or 110, and then that'll be the last we can do with this. Again, I was getting too close with the torch. On your whites, don't forget, you can't get them too hot. I'm going to check. We shouldn't be too bad yet. About 103. Just a little bit more and we'll call it good. Just don't get your torch too close. Probably plenty hot there. 112. Well, let's let that be. That should allow a little bit more of this white to come up in the center of these cells. Sometimes it'll start trying to break them up.